Alright, let's have a discussion on the syllabus of risk management paper as an elective for CA final. So there are about 9 readings. To make it simple, I just want to discuss every single reading very quickly with you so that you at least know what we are going to do in risk management. The first thing is, risk does not mean losses, risk means uncertainty. The idea is that in case I expect the stock prices to go up, say for example I'm running a manufacturing business. I am manufacturing, let's say, cables, and copper is one of my raw material. Now what happens is, if the copper prices are going to go up, I'm going to be suffering losses because my margins will decline, my cost is going to increase. But in that case, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to contract to purchase copper for the next few 6 months, 4 months, 5 months in advance at the current market rates. For those who've done SFM derivatives, that is known as a forward contract. You're contracting today, but the delivery you'll be taking is going to be on a forward time period, So risk, if I know something is going to happen, I can easily manage that part. It is the uncertainty that is risk. It is not losses. Risk does not mean losses. It means uncertainty. So risk management is basically managing those risks. So in general, what is your risk management? There are certain risks I want to take, I have to take because that is my business. Because if you don't take risk, you won't get returns. So there is a clear risk return trade-off. You've done that in SFM. There is a clear risk return trade-off. The more the risk you take, the more the return you will be generating. So risk management is to acknowledge what are the different risks that an organization is taking. Second, which risk I want to continue to take, which risk I want to remove by taking either insurance or mitigating those. There could be certain risks which are a little too high right now and I want to reduce those risks. So risk management is not removing risk, because if you remove risk, you also remove returns. It is a management of risks. And in the current economy, risk management has become extremely important. Whether you take up the case of Punjab National Bank, wherein there was a loan given, there was a lot of credit as well as operational risk involved. Because of the internal control loopholes, there were employees who took advantage of the situation. And not blaming internal control loopholes entirely, but there was a fraud conducted. That is operational risk for a bank. When people are not going to be able to pay back the loan, that is credit risk. The person जिसको आपने loan दिया है, सामने वाला person is going to default. That becomes your credit risk part. So when you're looking at risk management, the credit risk, the operational risk, so these are 2 readings over here. In the current economy, it has become very important. Lehman Brothers collapsed in the year 2008 September. That was a major blow to the global economy because a bank in the United States went bankrupt. That's a big deal. The recession formally began. It was like a bell, that yes, now the recession has formally set. So banks all across the world need to be regulated in a particular way. There is something called Basel norms that's there that regulates the banks. So we'll just have a very small tiny introduction to Basel norms in the operational risk reading. So this is why risk management has become important. If you notice, the exchange rates are fluctuating extremely high, exchange rates have become extremely volatile, and all the importers and exporters are going to be affected by that. So how do you manage that? That becomes a part of foreign risk. Now say for example, we are making an investment in a country and that country is going to default, or that country's laws are going to change. We've seen countries like Greece defaulting. So in those kind of situations, what might happen is, you need to study country risk. You need to know that these are the kind of risks involved with the country when you're trading, dealing with the country, and we know how much of globalization is happening. So that is why risk management becomes important. In the first reading, the first chapter, there are total 9 readings in total. The first reading is an introduction on what is risk management, what are the different definitions of risk. Of course, you don't have to mug up all the definitions. And what are the different types of risk? That is what the chapter is going to be focusing on. It's a very easy read. There are about 23 pages. I'll just tell you the pages also, because I see all the students every time they want to know how many pages is a mat of. So there are about 23 pages for this. Different types of risk is what you need to study. It's a very extremely easy and theoretical chapter. That is chapter 1. Second chapter is sources and evaluation of risk. It is a measuring. How do we measure risk? What are the different techniques that we are going to be using? Where do the risks sources, where do the risks come from? what is a risk manager, what is the profile of a risk manager, and a couple of case studies are given at the end of the reading. Now when you're looking at the case study, it is unlikely that you have to mug up or remember the case study. You can easily work with the case study anyways, because the exam's case study, it's not expected that the case study given in your textbook is going to come on the exam. It is, you don't have to learn the facts. It's just that if a similar case study is presented to you in the exam, you should be able to solve questions on that basis. Then the next, that's about 36 pages, so it's a little extensive, but then it's very easy. There are a lot of portions which you don't have to do, a lot of tables made in between, a lot of illustrations made in between, which we will cancel. The third one is your risk management. So what is the importance of risk management? What are the different techniques to use? This one is going to be a relatively irritating reading. It is about 18 pages long, but it's going to be a little irritating and annoying. It's not difficult, it's just that the content is a little dull, right? Chapter 4 is very easy. It's just a 14-page chapter, and that is quantitative analysis. So over here you need to understand mean, standard deviation, expected value, probability, which you anyways needed for the portfolio chapter of SFM. And you have already done partially this portion in your CPT level of quants, which most of the students I know skip. Then there are a couple of theory topics like artificial intelligence, GARCH, EWMA. GARCH, EWMA you don't know, there's just one paragraph each, and it's very easy. I'll explain it to you. You don't have numericals on that. It's a very easy chapter and a very good interesting chapter. Then comes the next one, risk model. Risk model has got topics like value at risk, expected shortfall and all. This chapter you will find it overlapping with the risk management chapter of your SFM paper. Scenario stress testing, country risk, which I was just discussing. It's just a 20-page chapter. It's very interesting chapter. It's a good chapter and an easy chapter to crack. And the VAR part is common in your both the subjects. So basically your risk management chapter of SFM is going to be more or less similar to this. That is your 5th chapter. In chapter 6, we've got credit risk. Credit risk is something which is quite prominently needed right now in the current economic scenario. There are a lot of people who are getting jobs into the credit risk part of the bank. A lot of chartered accountants get jobs over there. It's a 39 long page reading, but it's quite extensive. What is credit risk? What are the different types of credit risk? How do you measure credit risk? Altman Z-score and all of you very easy examples are given. How to measure credit risk? What are the different classifications for credit risk? What are the jobs in the credit risk department? So the credit risk chapter is going to be quite extensive, and it is going to be, according to me, quite important. So a full-fledged case study can be, created around the credit risk portion. The next reading, chapter 7, is going to be very easy. What is audit risk? What is corporate governance? So it's going to be overlapping with your audit part to quite an extent. What are the disclosures that is needed? So it's going to be very simple, easy theoretical chapter running around 25 pages. The next chapter, enterprise risk management, extremely easy theory chapter, 9 pages only. It is basically, instead of having our multiple risk departments for every single, multiple risk centers for different departments, you should have one consolidated risk, centralized risk department, which is taking care of the entire organization. So enterprise-wide risk management is what we need. That is what we are doing in chapter 8. The last one is your operational risk, chapter 9. That is, your basics are being covered as to what is operational risk, what do you understand by operational risk. Business continuity planning becomes important. Now say for example with Punjab National Bank. Now the senior professionals had to actually come out and comment that how are the banks going to be continuing. People do not need to be scared. Even though the bank's share price valuations have gone down to 50% of it, the bank lost 50% of the market capitalization in just one go in a period of 2-3 months. But then when you're looking at it, there needs to be a business continuity plan. How do you fight a situation as difficult or as, as complicated probably as this, or there is a reputational risk over here. The bank has suffered a lot of reputational damages. I'm not commenting on who's to be blamed or whether it was the bank's fault or the defaulter's fault. I'm not getting into that discussion. But the point is there is a lot of reputational risk that the bank has suffered, and we cannot deny that part. So those kind of things. So operational risk is going to cover these things. Cyber risk is there. Basel, a little introduction is there. Data theft. Now Facebook is in the middle of so much of data theft going on with respect to data privacy issues and all. So that part comes in. So this is going to be another extensive chapter, 36 pages long. So if you're looking at the 9 readings, 5 readings are going to be actually very easy. The introduction is what is risk and the different types of risk. That is quite easy. When you're looking at risk management, what is risk management and all is easy. The quants part is easy because you're doing it with portfolio. The risk model is an overlap. It's very small, easy chapter because we're doing it in the SFM paper, and ERM is very easy. The difficult part or the extensive part is going to be your credit risk reading and your operational risk reading. That is going to be a little extensive, lengthy, and you'll have to understand a lot over there. So but you will have to make sure, since it's a new subject, it is not related to, there are 2 chapters which are having an overlap with SFM. Otherwise, other than that, there is no overlap. All the electives have got a certain overlap with one of the subjects at least. So when you're looking at the content, it's going to be, you have to understand, you have to make sure you understand, because ultimately you'll have to crack case studies on the question and not just do the question at length, right? So that is the syllabus of risk management for you.